Good evening and welcome to CYC News for today, the 28th of September 2014 AD and the 18th of Tut 1731 AM. I'm Susie Michael. In today's headlines, ISIL destroys one of the oldest churches in the Middle East. Metropolitan Bakomious moved to another London hospital for further treatment. Christians are arrested and beaten by Hindu extremists in India. El-Sisi pledges to support the US in the war against ISIL. Arrests in the US town of Ferguson as protesters demand police chief resigns. And a new study shows that curries may assist the brain's ability to heal itself. The Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant has bombed one of the Middle East's most ancient churches, located in Tikrit, 170 kilometres north of Baghdad. ISIL militants packed the so-called Green Church with explosives before detonating it on Wednesday evening. The church had reportedly undergone recent renovations under the former regime of Saddam Hussein, and the province had submitted a request to include the church in the World Heritage List in 2013. The Green Church was constructed during the 7th century AD. It was one of the monuments inside the presidential palaces on the banks of the Tigris River and included open areas and archaeological drawings. His Grace Bishop Angelos said that His Eminence Metropolitan Bakomious of Buhaira and Pentapolis and former locum tenens of the Coptic Orthodox Church was moved to another hospital in London for rehabilitation and physiotherapy as a result of his improved health condition since Wednesday. The church said His Holiness Pope Tawadros II was in contact with Metropolitan Bakomious and has arranged for his medical care. A number of bishops from Egypt and other countries have visited His Eminence, and His Grace Bishop Beeman of Kwas and Nakwara will continue to accompany him throughout the course of his treatment. The church said that they are praying for his recovery and that public visits are not permitted. Police in Madhya Pradesh state in central India arrested 5 Christians near the city of Khargon, accusing them of offering people money to convert to Christianity. It is reported that Hindu extremists of the Bajrang Dal group ordered Christians gathered outside a house not to pray in the area. They then attacked them, taking them by force to the police station where they were held. According to the local faithful, allegations are baseless, and Christians had only invited a man to join their prayer, according to the facts sent to Fidesz by the Evangelical Fellowship of India, the EFI. According to Fidesz, Christian pastor Virender Bakash was taken by force to Hindu extremists accused of forced conversions and arrested for deliberate and malicious acts that offend religious sentiments. The inhabitants of his village in the district of Jashpur testified to the police that the allegations against the pastor were completely false. The pastor was released on bail. In Chhattisgarh, in the city of Riga, 2 Christian women, Jyoti Pal and Manju Modo, were arrested during a prayer meeting. Recently, another violent incident occurred in Karyanja in Bihar, north of India, where a group of Hindu extremists raided the homes of a Christian couple, beating them severely and causing them to be hospitalized. Others prevented the victims from filing a complaint to the police. Violence also affects Uttar Pradesh state in northern India, where Hindu extremists in the district of Haridwar beat the youngest daughter of Pastor Paya Lal, leader of an independent church, and threw stones at his home. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah El-Sisi pledged to support the war waged by the US against Islamic State militants in an interview with Wall Street Journal during his visit to the United States of America. Sisi said that there are terrorist threats in Libya, Sudan, Yemen and the Sinai Peninsula, as mirroring the danger posed to the Middle East and the West by the Islamic State. He pointed out in his interview, which lasted for an hour at a Manhattan hotel, that he extended efforts on the economic development, education and the promotion of religious tolerance as tools that were just as important for neutralizing Islamic State and other radical groups. He added, "We can't reduce the danger lurking in the region to the Islamic State. We have to bear in mind all the pieces of the puzzle. We can't just limit the confrontation to checking and destroying the Islamic State." Sisi pointed out Egypt will maintain its right to independently combat extremism and other threats to Cairo's security. Protesters have been arrested as they marched on the Ferguson police station and demanded the police chief resign. According to News Limited, several people were taken into custody after a scuffle broke out near where the embattled police chief Thomas Jackson was speaking with protesters. The unrest has sparked concern that Ferguson, the St. Louis suburb plagued by violence and protest since the shooting of an unarmed teen, could be headed for further conflict. Michael Brown was shot dead in Ferguson on August 9 by a white police officer, sparking nightly protests in the small town and igniting a national debate about race relations. Circumstances of Brown's death are contested, with police claiming that Brown, accused of stealing a box of cigars, was shot after a struggle with Mr. Wilson. But other witnesses say the teenager put his hand up to surrender before Mr. Wilson opened fire. A spice commonly found in curries may boost the brain's ability to heal itself, according to a report in the journal Stem Cell Research and Therapy. BBC reports that the German study suggests a compound found in turmeric could encourage the growth of nerve cells thought to be part of the brain's repair kit. Scientists say this is work based in rats may pave the way for future drugs and strokes causing Alzheimer's disease. But they say more trials are needed to see whether this applies to humans. Researchers from the Institute of Neuroscience and Medicine in Jülich, Germany, studied the effects of aromatic turmeric, a compound found naturally in turmeric. Rats were injected with the compound and their brains were then scanned. Particular parts of the brain known to be involved in nerve cell growth were seen to be more active after the aromatic turmeric infusion. Scientists say the compound may encourage a proliferation of brain cells. In a separate part of the trial, researchers bathed rodent-neutral stem cells, NCSs, in different concentrations of aromatic turmeric extract. NCSs have the ability to transform into any type of brain cell, and scientists suggest they could have a role in repair after damage or disease. The research found the higher the concentration of aromatic turmeric, the greater the growth of NCSs, and the cells bathed in the turmeric compound seem to specialise into certain types of brain cells more rapidly. The researchers are now considering whether human trials may be feasible. And that's all for CYC News today. Stay tuned for more Christian content on CYC. I'm Susie, and from the CYC studios in Sydney, Australia, good night and God bless.